Meghan McCain's husband, Ben Domenech, defends the get off my lawn couple. At least that's what I call them. Hi, welcome to JOA. If you're new to my channel, please click subscribe and click the bell button so you'll be the first to know when I upload. So, Meghan McCain's and Big Dominant favorites network, the Fox News. Ben Domenech was on Fox News talking to the news anchor about the whole situation, about those two couples that basically were armed because the protesters were protesting out against Black Lives Matters, and the couple didn't like it. So take a look at this clip and I'll come back.
This is long overdue. I have to keep saying to myself, what is the other side to this? They were threatened. They were on their own property. They clearly they had breached their perimeter. Why did it come to this?
They called the cops and the cops weren't coming. I mean, this is exactly the scenario where you own a firearm and you're prepared to defend what you have. But the other side of this, Brian, is what we hear from the likes of Nikole Hannah-Jones at the New York Times, who said, you know, in the context of the rioting that you saw in New York, that property damage and riots that cause it are not violence, but that the act of defending that is violence, and is violence that is predicated on, in her view, white supremacy, which is what she says the Second Amendment was founded on. Keep in mind, this is not just some reporter we're talking about. This is not just some biased media individual. This is someone who created the 1619 Project that is about to be taught in public schools across America, a falsehood about the founding of America. And that's really what they come from in this perspective, where they feel like people like the McCloskeys should just bend over backwards, they should take a knee, they should apologize for their white privilege, and that they should let armed rioters just storm right through their house. Now, look, you can say whatever you want about the McCloskeys. You don't have to have an opinion of them one way or the other, but they're Americans, and they have the right to defend their property, the right to defend their homes. And in this case, I'm glad that there are a few people who are still willing to acknowledge that and stand up for that as something that is fundamental to their rights as Americans.
When the marches came in the streets, when chaos was reigning in major cities, you know what was happening in gun stores around America? People were lined up, maybe for the first time, to buy a gun. And you're trying to tell them, through the McCloskeys, you better not use it. You better not defend yourself and your family. So the cops aren't coming and we can't defend ourselves. What country is this?
Brian, we didn't talk about this before the segment, but the fact is that I have all these friends of mine who are on the other side politically from me, left of center people, a lot of them from big cities, a lot of them from urban areas, who reached out to me in the course of the past month or so saying, you know, I know this is a strange question, but can you help me figure out what gun I should buy, you know, how I can get it, where I can put it, what I can do legally, because a lot of people in response to these incidents, you know, are worried about the cop pullback that they've seen, the fact that cops are under so much pressure politically right now that they can't necessarily fulfill their jobs the way that they want to, and they're worried about being able to defend their homes, their property, and their families.
Y'all, when I tell y'all that Meghan McCain's husband is purely right wing, you know, Meghan McCain be calling that boy on The View. Oh, man. Joy Behar just schooled me on education. Please help me, or I have to call my Let's Side dude, Paul Ryan. Girl, look, this is my opinion about the whole situation. All right, so these two people, I'm not going to say their names because I really don't know their names. I don't give a damn. All I know is they are personal injury lawyers, and people were protesting, and they were protesting in a gated community. They did not approach their lawn. They did not get in their grass. They did not come to their house or anything. So all these protests were doing was just walking around the neighborhood, simply just exposing their thoughts, blah, 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 blah. Didn't come at them nonviolent, didn't throw rocks or nothing, none of that. So these two couples didn't want to come out armed, telling people to get off their property. Now, mind you, these two couples are the ultimate Karen and Ken, because they are notably known for having lawsuits against their neighbors, allegedly against their tenants, and just really, I heard they had a lawsuit with somebody just because they wanted to change the gravel on their property, and they got pissed off. They got mad about that because a neighbor wanted to do something on a property and change just, I guess, the walkway. So they did a whole lawsuit on that against neighbors. So these are the people that are literally those type of neighbors where you live and they're so nosy and they're like, oh, your tree is blocking my view. I'm going to call the parish if you don't cut your tree down. They're those type of neighbors. So I don't agree with Ben Domenech's rhetoric about them using their Second Amendment rights. Yeah, you have a right to legally have a gun. But at the same time, like, I think people, Republicans, right-wing conservatives, these rednecks, they take it to an extent to where they can use it no matter what the situation is, no matter if they're like feeling as if they are. I mean, watching this video of the protesters really, in my opinion, I don't even think that they were harmful, or I don't even think those couples felt like they were being harmed. I just think that they did what they did because they're against the whole Black Lives Matter movement. They are prejudiced and they're racist and so on and so forth. So they're going to use their rights as a scapegoat, or basically use the Second Amendment as a scapegoat to saying, get off my property, instead of saying I'm a racist and I don't like you. Point blank, period. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments below. Please do subscribe and click the bell button so you'll be the first to know when I upload. Deuces! Yeah!